Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling under the surface of the food industry, and trust me, it's more fascinating than it sounds. So, the FDA just sent out warning letters to 7 food importers across the US, and what's really grabbing my attention here is the reason: violations related to the Foreign Supplier Verification Program, or FSVP. Now, personally, I think this is a big deal because it's not just about paperwork or red tape, it's about the safety of the food we eat every day. But here's the thing: what many people don't realize is that these FSVP rules are actually a critical part of preventing foodborne illnesses and ensuring that imported products meet US safety standards. It's like a safety net, and when it's not in place, well, that's when things can go really wrong. What makes this really interesting is the range of products these companies were importing. We are talking fresh produce, canned foods, dairy, sauces, candy, you name it. From my perspective, this highlights just how interconnected our food supply chain is. I mean, think about it. A single violation in one part of the chain can potentially affect thousands of consumers. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. In several cases, the FDA noted that these companies didn't even bother to document corrective actions after violations were found. To me, that's not just a compliance issue. It's a red flag about their overall commitment to food safety. If you take a step back and think about it, this raises a deeper question: how many other importers might be cutting corners, and what does that mean for public health? Now, let's talk about the bigger picture here. The FSVP isn't just some random regulation, it's part of the Food Safety Modernization Act, which was designed to shift the focus from reacting to outbreaks to preventing them in the first place. In my opinion, this is a game changer, but it's also a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives the FDA more tools to hold importers accountable. On the other hand, it puts a lot of responsibility on these companies to actually follow through. And honestly, I think that's where the real challenge lies. Compliance isn't just about checking boxes, it's about building a culture of safety. A detail I find fascinating is that these warning letters often come after months or even years of issues going unaddressed. What this really suggests is that there's a systemic problem here, one that goes beyond just these 7 companies. Here's another angle to consider: the FDA's enforcement process. Warning letters are just the first step, and companies have 15 days to respond. But what happens if they don't? Well, the FDA can take further action, including blocking imports or even pursuing legal measures. Personally, I think this is where things get really serious. It's not just about slapping a fine on a company, it's about protecting consumers. And let's be real, in a globalized food market, that's harder than ever. What many people don't realize is that the FDA is constantly juggling limited resources, so every warning letter is a strategic move. It's like a chess game, but the stakes are public health. So, where does this leave us? From my perspective, this story is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that food safety isn't just the FDA's job, it's everyone's responsibility, from importers to consumers. One thing that immediately stands out is how easily these issues can fly under the radar. I mean, these letters were issued in August, but the violations could have been happening for months or even years. That's a scary thought, right? It makes me wonder how many other potential risks are out there, just waiting to be uncovered. If you take a step back and think about it, this isn't just about 7 companies, it's about the entire system and whether it's equipped to handle the challenges of a global food supply chain. Closing thought: food safety is one of those things we often take for granted until something goes wrong. But stories like this remind us that it's a constant battle, and one that requires vigilance from everyone involved. Personally, I think we need to be asking more questions, demanding more transparency, and holding companies accountable. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about compliance, it's about trust. And when it comes to the food we eat, that's something we can't afford to lose. So, what do you think? Are we doing enough to keep our food safe, or is this just the tip of the iceberg? Let me know in the comments below.